tells us that a long time ago, the people kept doing bad things, and they forgot about God. Except for Noah. Noah loved God. God was sad that everyone but Noah forgot about him. He told Noah about his plan to start again. "Make yourself an ark," God said. "Here's how." So Noah and his family began working on the ark. There was no rain and lots of people laughed, but Noah kept going. When it was done, God said, "Take your family and 2 of every animal into the ark." The animals creeped, crawled, and hopped and galloped onto Noah's new boat. Once all the animals were on, Noah shut the doors. After everyone was inside, the rain began to fall and fall and fall. The ark rocked this way and that way on the rising water. Finally, the rain stopped. Water covered everything. Everyone inside the ark was safe. Noah and his family were very happy. They were in the boat for a long time. There was no sign of any land. One day, Noah sent a dove to find land. It flew but never found any, so it came back. 1 week later, Noah sent the dove out again. This time it brought him an olive leaf. Noah cheered. It must have found land. The ark finally came to a rest on the top of a mountain. The animals left. Noah and his family praised God. God put up a beautiful rainbow in the sky. It was a sign of his promise to never flood the whole earth again.
Isn't that an amazing story of Noah's faith and trust in God and God's promises? I was looking at this passage in the Bible recently. It must have been really awful to live in that time when every single person living had no goodness in them at all. Everyone except for Noah, that is. So Noah does as God says, and he builds an ark, and he takes all the animals in with him, and after around a year of being cooped up with all those smelly animals, they finally get let out. And Noah was still faithful to God after all that time. The first thing he does is to praise God by building an altar to him. And God's response to Noah is to look on him with love. And because of Noah's faithfulness, to make a promise. God promised that he would never send a flood to cover the whole earth again. In other words, he promised his grace to the whole world, not just then, but forever. And as a sign, he put his rainbow in the sky, so that every time we see the rainbow, we can remember God's promises to us. And it's interesting just now that in this really weird, strange time of lockdown, when we're not going to school, we can't see our friends, there's no clubs, that we don't need to go far before we can see a rainbow. In fact, you might even have a rainbow in your own windows. And we can remember God's promises to us when we see them and be encouraged and encourage others also.